Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Crazy Dallas back in our YouTube video. And in today's YouTube video, we have another huge NASCAR diecast shipment unboxing video. This will be technically my early Christmas present unboxing, I guess you could technically say. I actually got these boxes right after Thanksgiving. So I've actually had these boxes for quite a few days, but I've been pretty busy lately with school and work. You know, I got to lock in with school since I've been off on Thanksgiving break. I'm trying to get all my work done before my semester finals end in the middle of January. January 15th and 16th, to be honest. So with Christmas coming up, I've been very busy. So I apologize about the lack of videos, but I still have able to get in videos here and there, just only like 2 or 3 videos per week. But as you guys might know, about I want to say maybe about a month ago or so, I had a huge NASCAR diecast shipment right after Halloween, I believe, or around Halloween-ish, a little after Halloween, I believe. And so that happened. I had, I believe, 10 cars. There is something I will say about this video real quick before we actually get into the unboxing. So I have 9 cars in total. Shout out to Spoiler Diecast and K-State Diecast. I always usually order NASCAR diecasts, like the brand new NASCAR diecast from K-State Diecast and Spoiler Diecast. I order them from Spoiler Diecast because they usually give you free shipping if you buy a specific amount. I also order from K-State Diecast because they actually have pretty decently cheap shipping as well. So I really like, K-State Diecast and Spoiler Diecast. Spoiler Diecast from Indiana, K-State Diecast, of course, from Kentucky. So yeah, there you have it. Like I said, I have 9 cars in here in total. I can't remember if it's 5. I'm pretty sure Spoiler Diecast had 5 cars and K-State had 4, or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, K-State Diecast either has 4 or 5. Same thing with Spoiler Diecast, 4 or 5. I can't remember, but we'll find out. Anyways, one more thing before we hop into the video. I know you guys are excited. There was actually a 3rd package that was supposed to come, but it got delayed, and I didn't want to wait any longer. That's also why I've been waiting a little, like an extra 2 days or so. But with that really bad winter storm that came through, I had to wait a few days just before to do the unboxing. We got about 14 inches of snow probably. Of course, about half of it melted by now. But it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, I don't think. Yeah, some of the snow melted, but definitely not all of it. And let me show you guys real quick on how big that snow is. That's my garage roof. And it looks a little bigger on camera, but it's probably about 5 or 6 inches, about half a foot. So there's only about half a foot there, and we got about 14 inches. So about basically 2/5 of it, maybe 3/5, you could say, I guess, technically got melted through. But yeah, that got delayed. It was the package that was supposed to come was like this mini Riddell, like Cowboys color chrome football helmet. I got it for about $10. It was $8 with about $5 shipping, so I guess more 13. With tax, it's probably 14 or 15 bucks, but either way, it was a little on the expensive kind of side, but it was like a color chrome, like reflective helmet. And it just looks so cool, and it was the cheapest I could find for that specific Cowboys helmet. Also, I want to be honest with you guys. So earlier this year, you know how I did that NASCAR diecast unboxing video? If you guys are subscribed to me for over a year, you guys will know. I did a NASCAR diecast unboxing, and I received a package on Amazon. It was this Riddell 40, no, not 40. It was $40, but it was like this 32 pack of every single NFL team's mini helmets. For Christmas this year, there's a good chance that I might get some more of those helmets, but in like different varieties, and maybe even like a mini helmet instead of a pocket helmet. The mini helmets, which are about $35 each. So there's a chance that might happen. Maybe I'll go. I have a local Scheels store. Scheels is, of course, a very good sporting and camping store and all that. They have a bunch of crap. Kind of like Dick's Sporting Goods, but Scheels honestly has way more than Dick's Sporting Goods. But you guys get the point. They have a bunch of those football helmets, so it'd be cool to have. But yeah, guys, I feel like it'd be really cool to have those helmets. Because I'm not sure if Scheels, like, if you go online, like, I have the Scheels app. I'm not sure if they actually have the helmets at the store or if they're online only. I've been to Scheels a couple times, but the last time I've been to Scheels was, like, over a year ago. But I think I might go there once or twice pretty soon, hopefully. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the unboxing. I apologize about all the yapping. But I know a lot of you guys like me to talk in my videos. I've only gotten like 2 complaints from me talking that much out of like probably a good, God knows how many people watch these unboxing videos. But either way, I know a lot of you guys like me yapping, but I don't want to yap too much because that's not the point of this video. I just wanted to let you guys know about that update. And I know you guys are going to want that update because it's Christmas season. Alright, let's get that opened up. That was very satisfying. Full of packing peanuts. Look at all that snow right there. All of that snow, which is just going to create a mess. So we're going to put this over to the side. Not sure why, but I'm going to use this pan to have all the packing peanuts go onto. That way they don't go all over the place. And look at that, we got some die cast. We got some die cast in here, guys. Let's go ahead and pull out one at a time. Let me move some of these packing peanuts away. And our first car in this Christmas shipment is Ryan Blaney's 2025 Menards/Pennzoil. When I first saw this car coming out, I wasn't a huge fan of it just because it's every single year. They never change the Menards paint schemes. But I did notice actually quite a few differences. They have this little gray stripe going through. And then they have actually a neon, you know, it's the classic Menards neon yellow or neon lime, whatever color you want to describe that, around the number 12. It's not on the roof, which is unfortunate, but I feel like it would be hard to do that with the yellow. It'd blend in too much. It wouldn't be blended in very well. But yeah, and then you got the gray trims, which isn't very exciting, but it's better than just classic black trims. So once I actually got into some detail in this car, I was like, this might be one I might want to get. And I know that there's actually quite a few Ryan Blaney paint schemes out there. I know there's his body armor, which I have, or which I'm trying to get in NASCAR Authentics 2025 A1. I have this one. They have the Ryan Blaney Menards, like his normal Menards paint scheme that's out in Wave 3. So I'll probably wait until Wave 3 comes out to try and get 2 of those guys. And then they had one more. It was his Advanced Auto Parts, which also similar to this paint scheme. They change it, but very limited change every year. But that's how companies go. They want to change their stuff to make it cooler and more entertaining, but not change it up too much. But yeah, I'd say this paint scheme isn't nothing too special or too important, but I thought it'd be cool to have, I have not have a Ryan Blaney car for 2025 until now, so shocking to hear that, considering that the whole 2025 season over. And yes, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but this low-key might be the last NASCAR diecast shipment video for 2025, guys. I don't want to get my hopes up. I also don't want that in the video, the confidential information. I'm just not sure, you know. I'm not sure if this will be the last video or not for the, you know, shipment. Let me pull out some more packing peanuts. I think that's basically all. There's two more left. Let me grab them actually real quick. Let's get into our next NASCAR diecast. And then in our next NASCAR box, we have, this one's actually really cool. This one's been out for a little bit now, but I finally decided to get it. I wanted to get it in the last NASCAR diecast shipment, but I waited until this one, and that's for actually a lot of cars, because there were so many good cars that came out, and I finally got 95% of all the good cars that are out right now. Besides the Darlington throwbacks and the patriotic paint schemes, I basically got all the good, like, primary, secondary, basic paint schemes. Here is William Byron's 2025 Cincinnati. This is the paint scheme he ran at Martinsville during the, playoff race. He won in this car to get to the championship 4, with Ryan Blaney right here coming in second and Chase Elliott in third. All those three guys actually needed to win that race to get into the championship. So Byron won the race, Blaney second, Elliott third. It was a very good battle between Blaney and Byron, but Byron's car was just better. And this is the same exact paint scheme he ran at Martinsville. And of course, that was during the fall. And I personally love this paint scheme. This is probably my favorite William Byron, like, red, white, and blue paint scheme I ever have. Especially for next gen. I personally love this paint scheme. I feel like he should have ran this at Charlotte. Just because of how cool it is. I feel like he should have ran it at, like, the Charlotte Roval, maybe. But the pink window banner would be a little too weird, though. So maybe not. Either way, love this paint scheme. This is definitely my favorite William Byron paint scheme so far this year. I do not have William Byron's Raptor or William Byron's Exalta. I only have the Byron Cincinnati, of course. But I also have the Byron Valvoline. But those are the only two that I actually have for 2025, unfortunately. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Okay, our third diecast. This one's going to be hit or miss for some people. I know a lot of people were hyping up this car because it was coming out in 164. But I heard a lot of people say that this paint scheme is a little off in real life compared to the diecast itself. At least that's what I've heard. I'm not sure if people agree on me with that or if people are just saying that because this driver, in theory, does not get any diecast produced. He only got, like, maybe one diecast produced last year, and I'm pretty sure I do have it in the Gold Series. But this is a driver that usually you never get a paint scheme made in 164. But this year, we actually got the most random Toyota Legacy Motor Club paint scheme. Here is John Hunter Nemechek's 2025 Backstreet Boys. Very, very ominous paint scheme. What does that say? Backstreet Boys into the... Let me zoom in. Gillennium? Okay. Pretty cool. I will say one thing. I love the gold on this car. I mean, the gold is just so cool. Especially this little part right here. I mean, Lionel nailed the gold. I just heard that the blue on the roof and, like, the fade is a little too dark, I heard. And I also heard that some of this, like, light bluish, what's it called? Like, fades right here. Whatever you want to call that is supposed to be actually white instead of, like, the baby blue. At least that's what I heard of, but I really don't see a screw-up really that much. And if it is a screw-up, I can barely tell it, so it's not a huge deal. Even if it is a screw-up, it's still not horrible. I just love the gold on this car. Especially with Legacy Motor Club being, you know, mainly, like, loving, like, the gold color. Like, if you compare, like, besides, you know, the Family Dollar cars, you'll see a lot of gold coloring on Legacy Motor Club's die-casts. Or just, like, paint schemes in general. Like Jimmy Johnson's, you know, 2024 Carvana. That had gold. You know, just all those guys. And I also heard that the Jimmy Johnson number 84 Shaq slash Carvana car is coming out 164. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but I'm sure it'll be probably around maybe late Christmas, early January, hopefully, because it's been a while. And I also heard that the Just Now Geyer Travel Whiskey in 164 is also getting made officially. So I am very, very pumped about that. At least that's what I heard of. That doesn't mean it's 100% true, but that does mean that it gives me some hopeful, exciting vibes. Let's go ahead and... Ooh. Let me zoom out. I was trying to zoom out a camera at the same time, but that didn't work. There we go. My favorite paint scheme so far is by far the William Byron, but the Jonathan Nemechek low-key is in a pretty close second with Blaney in third. The Nemechek's gold is cool, but yeah. Okay, our next paint scheme in this box, we have... Ooh, this one is actually pretty cool. I remember this paint scheme. I went to the Daytona 500 earlier this year, and I saw this paint scheme up in person, and it was actually really cool. I love like the blue and white. This reminds me of the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Kroger / Cottonelle paint scheme that he won at the Daytona 500 back in 2023. Not to mention that this car also has a color chrome, or reflective, or, as people would call it these days, a foil number. This is the Brad Keselowski 2025 Kroger / Cottonelle. Honestly, probably one of my favorite Brad Keselowski next-gen paint schemes I have right now. Definitely my favorite so far for 2025 for Brad K. This is my second Brad Keselowski diecast. My first one was in 2025 Wave 2 with his Build Submarines car, which was a decent paint scheme, but it's just too similar. The roof, and that's basically it. That's the only thing that's different from the 2024 and the 2025 Brad Keselowski BuildSubmarines.com car. Either way, I do love this paint scheme. I highly doubt this makes Authentics, but you never know. But I highly doubt it, like I said, especially if we got the Brad Keselowski Build Submarines car before this car. Even in the Gold Series, I just don't think... And there's too many Brad Keselowski cars that are out right now. I don't think they're going to put this one in. Odds are out, in my opinion. But either way, I do love this car. Still not my favorite, but my second favorite, though, by far, compared to the Nemechek and the Blaney. Byron's still my favorite. I just love the red, white, and like... The red, blue, and like whitish, the white gray fade. It's just so cool. Okay, here's our last diecast for this box. And this has to be arguably the best diecast out of all of them that I have gotten in this shipment. And I wish I would have done the other box first, because this one was actually technically the last one I could even get to in this box. They made that on purpose, probably. Not really. But here's a diecast everybody has been getting. And we have not gotten a Cody Ware diecast in 164 since 2017 in the Gold Series, and in Authentics, and just in real life, and just in 164 in general. For the first time since 2017, we got ourselves a Cody Ware diecast. And here his is regular Arby's diecast that he ran at God knows who where. Probably a bunch of tracks. I can't even think of one, because not a lot of people follow Cody Ware. But I will say Cody Ware actually didn't have that bad of a season. Oh, we got a piece of packing peanut on the box. I'm going to take that off. I feel like Cody Ware definitely had a better season than Riley Herbst. And I feel like Cody Ware honestly had a better season than, what's his name? Eric Jones. And call me crazy, but Cody Ware low-key, I think, might actually have a decent season next year. Obviously, he's definitely not going to win a race next year. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, I think he's actually going to have a couple good races like he did this year. Like the Coke Zero Sugar 400, he did great. The Daytona 500, he did all right. He's just one of those drivers that does like really good one race and finishes in like the top 20 possibly, and then 4 weeks later, 4 weeks in a row, then he's just back to crap. But I feel like Cody Ware, if he's just more consistent, he could be all right. He won't make the playoffs, but of course, he will get better as time goes. All right, I'm going to have to make a second row. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our second box. There's actually one last thing inside of here, but it's just the paper, which I don't need. There are free returns, but I don't want returns. Okay, so that was from K-State Diecast. So these 4 cars are from Spoiler Diecast. I'm not sure why it says Chase Briscoe 2023 Mahindra Olgo. I realized that right away, of course. And I was like, I did not order that. So I'm not sure what's going on there with Spoiler Diecast there, but hopefully everything's alright. I'm going to open it up from the top. Just because I don't want the packing peanuts getting in my way or whatever is in here this time. I learned my mistake the first box. So yeah, just watch out for the confidential information, guys. I'm going to cover that up. I'll drop my camera on the floor. I've been doing that a lot recently by accident. I need to get a new camera thing. This one's just kind of crappy. It's just a custom made one. I need to get a better one. One that's actually good and not crap. Oh, I cut that. Oh well. Okay. Ooh, should we? I'm gonna carefully... Okay, one at a time, guys. Alright. Here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and start off with our first diecast from Spoiler Diecast. Here is a diecast that I don't think a lot of people noticed that was out. Same thing with like the Blaney Menards or the Kozlowski Kroger / Cottonelle. But this is one of those paint schemes that is cool, but like it's very similar to every year. Same thing goes with a lot of these paint schemes that you guys are going to see in this video, later in this video. Here is the Kyle Busch 2025 Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen. As you guys know, I love Cheddar's. They have really good food, and it's actually pretty affordable. Same thing with Applebee's. I cannot talk today. This is my first Kyle Busch diecast for this year. Same goes with This is my first Kyle Busch diecast for 2025, just in general. Same goes with Ryan Blaney, John Nemechek, Cody Ware, and Brad Keselowski, at least in the Gold Series. So basically, besides the Willie and Byron Cincinnati paint scheme, these are all new to me for different drivers in the Gold Series. Now, the Blaney and the Keselowski, I do have in Authentics. Just not, I'm talking about in the Gold Series, though. But anyways, I love the Cheddar's paint scheme, and I thought, I haven't gotten a Cheddar's paint scheme since 2023. I missed an opportunity on the 3-wide photo finish at Atlanta from last year. Might as well get it this year. Nothing too special about the Kyle Busch Cheddar's paint scheme. It's pretty similar to every year, but this year's I think I like a little more than last year's. It is similar, but I feel like the more like the grayish black they have on this car, just the better it is. It looks super cool. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to our next car. Gotta make this careful. Alright, here is our next paint scheme. Might be better to just get it off on the other side next time. Here we have the most random, once again, same thing with the Darren Nemechek. The most random paint scheme that came out. Nobody expected this car to come out in 164. But once it did, I knew a lot of people would probably get it. But I actually don't know a lot of people that have gotten this paint scheme. I'm not sure if it's just too bland or what. But this is the first time in history we are getting a Team Amerivet, where service meets speed, diecast. I know it's weird saying that. This is the Burt Myers 2025 Pinnacle / what does that say? Citrus Safe Cleaners. Oh yeah, I know Citrus Safe. I've seen that quite a lot of times lately. And so it's very interesting to see this paint scheme. And I'm not a huge fan of this paint scheme, but I feel like they could have done a little more with this car. Like I said though, he only ran this car twice. I believe he ran this at the Bristol Spring Race and finished horribly though. And then he ran this, of course, at the Clash at Bowman Gray, where Chase Elliott won. And then Denny Hamlin, of course, won, I believe, Bristol this year. Or was that Martinsville? No, Kyle Larson won Bristol. I'm sorry. Denny Hamlin won Martinsville. Either way, probably the least... I don't want to say it to hurt anybody's feelings, but this is probably the weakest paint scheme I have out of the 9 I'm going to have today. No offense. But my favorite right now is honestly probably the Cody Ware now. I won't lie, guys. I won't lie. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the next one, guys. Kind of hard to get out, though, because of this paper. I don't want you guys seeing the last paint scheme. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that up. I did not see it, which is kind of nice. Okay, guys, let's look at our 8th paint scheme / diecast of the video. Here we have the Bubba Wallace 2025 number 23 Lidos, however you want to pronounce it. I say Lidos. It's probably Lidos. Either way, same word, different saying. Who cares, right? We don't care about the company. We just care about the paint scheme. That's what we do for diecast, is we support either the company or the paint scheme or the driver. Anyways, I'm not sure how I want to feel about this car. It's not horrible, but I'm not going to lie, not a huge fan of it. This Bubba Wallace Lidos. There's definitely better paint schemes out there, but I know that there was Bubba Wallace's Columbia car. I'm not going to lie, guys. That Bubba Wallace Columbia car for this year is so ugly. I'm not even sure if I'm going to get it. If I do get it, it's only because I don't have that many Bubba Wallace diecasts, and I know that there's only probably like 3 Bubba Wallace cars that are coming out. It's this one, the Lidos, and then it's the Columbia car, and then I believe his Indianapolis win is coming out, because Lionel posted a picture just a few days ago, like literally like a day or 2 ago, about his, Indianapolis win, oval win, coming out in 164 and 124 with those 2 prototypes and 2 different scales. But like I said, the real reason why I'm not a huge fan of this car is just the fact that there's not a lot of detail. I mean, you got like some of these purple hexagon looking things on the roof, but like I can look at the hood and it's just plain white with just the Lidos logo. And then if you look in the back, it's kind of like this purplish white fade. And it's just, it's just a little too much for me. Too much purple. I will say, though, it's actually pretty cool how they made the 23 on the sides. Like, in the different view. Look at that. On the side, if you look at the 23... that is actually pretty cool. That is actually very cool. But that's about it. That's really the only cool thing about the Bubba Wallace car is just like the number, like the number trim silver. The number trim silver chrome foil number on the side. Okay, we have 1 die cast left, right? Go ahead and... oh, there's another paper underneath this die cast. Wow, there's 2 papers. Okay. Very interesting. So there's like 2 paper... well, there's this paper. I'm going to put in this one. And then there's this one as well. And then there's the die cast. And then there's this like white paper too that's underneath that. It's like this white, like, almost like toilet paper. But it's not. It's like some of that, like, it's some of that, like, you know when you get birthday gifts, you guys, you get the birthday gift bags? Those are kind of like what these are. That's exactly what they are, actually. Okay, our last die cast we have with another white paper. And I see the die cast. I know what it is. You guys don't know what it is. And here is our last die cast of this shipment. Possibly the last shipment of 2025, unless I get some die cast for Christmas. Which most likely I will. Well, I better. And then in the last car, we have arguably one of the best paint schemes this year for this driver. With an insane finish at Kansas later this year. This paint scheme, I knew a lot of people were going to get this one. Especially the Kansas race version of this driver. Here we have the Chase Elliott 2025 Kelley Blue Book. I have not gotten a Kelley Blue Book car since 2023. And that was, of course, the Advent calendar. And then in 2022 was the last time I actually got the Gold Series version of the Kelley Blue Book car. Excuse me, not color, the car. For the Gold Series. So I haven't gotten another Kelley Blue Book car since 2023. And realistically, technically 2022, if you count the Gold Series only. So it's been 3 years for the Gold Series, 2 years just in general. And I gotta say, something about this Kelley Blue Book car, I feel like this paint scheme is just a lot better than the 2022 and the 2023. I feel like they actually did a pretty good job on this Chase Elliott Kelley Blue Book car. I feel like it's actually better than last year's and, and so on. I will say, though, my favorite Kelley Blue Book car that Chase Elliott has ever ran has to be 2021. The Kelley Blue Book car for Chase Elliott in 2021 was peak, guys. I won't lie. If you guys need a picture of it, go look it up on Google. You guys will know what I mean. Or 2020 was decently, too. 2020 was pretty good. 2022, 2023, 2024, they were all alright. But this year is actually pretty cool. Not to mention that I loved the blue number 9 on this Kelley Blue Book car. And I know there's not a lot of detail, but there's enough detail on here where you can, kind of ignore the whitish, light bluish color. And as I was talking about, Chase Elliott, of course, won this paint scheme at Kansas later this year with an insane finish within the last, 5 or 10 laps. Toyota's dominating, and he comes out of nowhere and wins. I still remember that to the day. It was really, really, really crazy. Really unfortunate the Toyotas didn't win, though, for them. But either way, this paint scheme is really nice, and I do like it. It's definitely not my favorite out of this whole shipment, but it's probably a top 5. And if I would have to rank, I would say, really quick before we end the video, I would say the Cody Ware Arby's car definitely wins it all. And I would say the William Byron comes in a close second. And in third place would be, where is he? There he is. The Brad Keselowski Kroger/Cotton. Now, that's your top 3 right there. And then in fourth, we have the Kyle Busch Cheddars. In fifth, we have the Chase Elliott. In sixth, we have the Ryan Blaney. And in seventh, we have the John Hunter Nemechek. And in eighth place, we have the Bubba Wallace Lidos. And then, of course, last place is the Burt Myers. No offense to him. It's just the paint seems too bland and too original. I will say, though, the number 50 on the Burt Myers car actually doesn't look that bad. I do like the little orange, black, and white trim that's going on around there. And the top with, the limeish green. That is cool. It's just the paint scheme itself, not the number. But either way, yeah, there's that. That is going to do it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely a really cool shipment to have. If you're me, I really like this shipment that I did. I'm not sure if I like the last shipment better or this one, though. Honestly, if I would have to pick, I think I'd like the last shipment, because that last shipment had the Riley Herbst Sunny D, the Josh Berry Motocraft, It just had that last shipment had so many good die casts where I can't remember all the good cars. That's how many good cars there were in my last shipment. Don't get me wrong, this shipment was really good, especially with having my first ever Kyle Busch, Jared Nemechek, Bubba Wallace, Burt Myers, Ryan Blaney, Cody Ware, and Brad Keselowski for the Gold Series car for 2025, my first time. So the only two cars, or the only two drivers that I already have in the Gold Series is Byron and Elliott, the 200 guys. I'm sure a lot of people were hoping that I would get the Kyle Larson, Hendrick 1100 miles paint scheme. Wait until Christmas, guys, because I believe I might get some patriotic and Darlington throwback cars for Christmas, maybe. At least that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But in order to do that, I need to let people know. So, either way, that's going to do it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next YouTube video. And if this is the last NASCAR, this obviously will be the last NASCAR diecast shipment video until Christmas. So early Merry Christmas, guys, for that. And if there is no more NASCAR diecast shipment videos for 2025, happy 2026, guys. At least for this kind of series. So, yeah. I'm also trying to think if I should make a playlist for the NASCAR diecast shipment videos. Let me guys know in the comments below if you would like a playlist just to have, just for memories, or just that way if you guys want to rewatch the diecast I get, you guys can a little easier by just going to my new tab for, new playlists. So, either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Early Merry Christmas, everybody. And I hope you all stay warm on a very cold, snowy Christmas, possibly for where I live. So, yeah. Goodbye, guys.